All right. Hello, everybody. Good evening, friends and neighbors. Hope everybody's doing well. Welcome once again to the Rabun County Rag, the voice of these Blue Ridge valleys, where stories echo off the ridges and laughter drifts through the hollers. Well, looks like the fall's in full swing. Boy, that rain we've had the past 3 days, and more than that. What is today? Thursday? I got up Monday morning, going to go for a walk, and it was pouring rain. Um, Same thing on yesterday. Going to go for a walk, and it's raining like cats and dogs. Well, the good news is the old road that I had put effort into seems to be holding up well. That culvert that I dug out and cleared seems to be handling the water the way it's supposed to. So hopefully that'll get us through the winter before I have to get out there in the springtime, put some more work into that road again. Yep, but looks like fall's in full swing now. The air is cool and crisp. I can smell wood smoke in the mornings when I get up and look out across there and see smoke curls from the chimneys. And the maples are showing off with colors that make a painter jealous. Not only the maples now, them oaks, those brown oaks and them yellow maples and some red cherry and some, what's that other red leaf thing out there? Boy, they sure are pretty. Me and the wife were coming up the driveway the other day, and it was a sight to behold. And it made me think how blessed I am to be right here. And there's no place I'd rather be than right here in this blessed corner of the world we call home. She took a bunch of pictures and sent them out, and it was just a beautiful scene coming up that driveway. That driveway I spent so much time on working on. Just when I turn off the blacktop and hit that gravel road coming to the house, all the cares and the worries just fade away. Just fade away and makes me know how blessed I am. As always, let's remind ourselves why we gather here each week. We are a community of like-minded people with common interest in hunting, fishing, protecting our community, our culture, families, and environment. We come here to exchange ideas, resources, and information. So pull up a chair, pour yourself a cup, and let's talk about life in these mountains. Y'all go ahead and start sending me something in the chat, sending me some messages, asking some questions, making comments, whatever you'd like to do. Like to hear you come in there and join the conversation. Let me get these headphones off. Let me know how the stream looks, how it sounds. If we're coming in good, let me know. The deer season, the gun season's been open for nearly 2 weeks now. And early reports from Rabun and across North. That darned old phone call. Y'all want to take it? Let's see who this fool is. It's old junk mail. Come on. Now they hung up on me. I don't have the Bluetooth turned on anyway. Let me go ahead and turn on the Bluetooth in case that knucklehead calls back. Y'all get tired of these old calls all the time? I know I do. Anyway, where was I? All right, there we go. So the next one calls in, we'll talk to him. We'll share his message amongst us. Anyway, gun season, like I said, has been open for nearly 2 weeks. And the early reports from Rabun and across North Georgia say this year's off to a good, solid start. The cooler nights and cooler temps have got deer moving early and late, with bucks trailing the does and feeding heavy on white oak. See them out here all the time moving through. According to the Georgia DNR, harvest numbers statewide are up about 10%, with Rabun County averaging one of the best doe to buck ratios in the mountain zone. Some of the hunters over there, and these are reports. If y'all got something different, y'all let me know. Hunters around Warwoman, Dillard, and Persimmon have already checked in several fine 8 and 10 pointers. If you got your deer and you already got one this year, type a chat and brag about it, and we'll share your braggadocious with everybody who tunes into this little live stream. Now, if you're hunting high country, remember the deer are moving mid-mornings on calm days. Focus near water sources, creeks, and things like that, seeps, springs. Now, the rut's coming fast. It's supposed to be peaking around, it's expected to peak around the week of November 8th through the 14th. So be hot and heavy and ready to get after it, boys, girls. Of course, the small game season continues with squirrel and dove. Rabbit season opens in about 2 more weeks, November 15th, and trapping starts in the 1st of December. Now that these leaves are starting to come off, and I figure the leaf peepers might be through here this weekend and maybe next weekend, but this is probably the height of the leaf peeping season. And now is my time that I like to get out there and start doing the fishing. And I'm a trout fisherman. I get out there, and I like these colder days. I just don't have to deal with the crowds. And this is just my season. So when the weather turns cool, you got to get after it. If you're going to be a trout fisherman, some of the tactics that I like to use are, now it slows for the faint-hearted, but if those willing to get out, willing to bundle up and get their feet a little wet, a little cold, it can be pure magic. And believe me, it really can be pure magic. Some of the tactics I believe in is trying to get out there as the sun's hitting the water. Try and fish midday. Once the sun warms the water, the trout move out to feed. Go small. I got my little nymphs right here. Let me see if I can't key up this other camera here and give you a shot of what I'm talking about. Y'all hang on a minute. And now this is my second camera, and I don't know how well it'll show up, but I got my little fishing cuff here. Let's see if I can get that to focus for y'all. For you folks out there. I don't know. Is it focusing? Am I too close? Those are some of the little nymphs that I use. Some woolly boogers, some hare's ear nymph. Not woolly boogers. I do have some woolly boogers, but hair ears nymphs and things like that that I like to use. And I think these are size 18 to 22, normally what I have. And let me see. I don't know how well that's showing up. I like this little cuff. I had this piece of leather here, and I tooled it up. And let's see if I can get y'all shot without that darned old Pluriforia being in the way. I love you, girl, but you're in the way for right now. But let me switch back to the other camera so you can get a better view of that. But this here is a leather cuff that I put together a few years back. And at first it just had the medallion on there, trout medallion. I'd wear it occasionally because I like trout. And I got 2 buttons on it so I can put it over the sleeve. I can open it up and put it over the sleeve, or just wear it like this one is a tight. And then last year or the year before, I bought some sheepskin, and I took and let me see if I can fire that up. What in the world? Anyway, I took that old sheepskin and and glued it on that leather cuff. And now when I fish, I've got my assortment on the cuff out there. And when I'm fishing, I can change tactics, all right, and then put the other one in there and let it dry out. So that's a pretty handy thing. I made that several years ago. And now, do I fly fish or do I spin fish? I do both. I do both. When I'm fly fishing, it's I don't know, double taper, 3 or 4 weight, probably a 3 weight, and with a light leader on it, light leader and a ultralight tippet, maybe a 2-pound tippet, maybe a 4-pound tippet. I'm not sure. Whatever I pull off the spool or I come out of the bag with. Fish under the rhododendron around the hold areas and things like that. And now if I'm spin fishing, which I do, I'll take a strike indicator and I'm fishing 4-pound test, I think currently what I've got on that Zebco, 4-pound test line. And I'll put a strike indicator, I don't know, 4 or 5 feet up the line, and then put some weight toward the middle of that. Just smallest little lead shots I've got. I'll put those midway and then tie one of these nymphs on there, and cast it and just fish it like I would a fly on a fly rod. Let it float downstream. You know, if I'm casting upstream, it'll float downstream. And wait for that pickup. You got to be deep. Those trout are holding awful low to the ground, awful low to the bottom. You got to fish it slow too, as slow as possible. You know, the water is going to have some impact on that, and keep the slack out of your line. Getting the belly out of the line on a 4-pound test line on a little spin cast is a little tougher compared to getting the belly out of a line, getting the belly out of a line on a fly rod. So with a spin caster, you got to keep your rod tip high, so that the only thing that's touching the water is your strike indicator, and you're fishing, you're bumping the bottom. If you can't feel it bumping the bottom, you ain't deep enough. If you ain't hanging up, you ain't deep enough. Most of these are tied on 18 to 22s. I have a variety there. Hare's ear, beaded, everything. I think everything is beaded there. Beaded, hare's ear, nymph. I do go for a woolly bugger every now and then. And all else fails, I keep my worm can over there stocked and fed and watered and keep them ready to go. And I'll take a little old bitty baby food jar or some kind of little plastic jar and put, 5 or 6 worms in it. I don't need more than one. I just take 5 or 6 in case somebody else needs a worm. I catch my limit on 1 worm. Yes, sir. Anyway, I take an extra worm or 2 in case I run across somebody who's having poor luck and ain't working out well for them and they didn't have any worms. I might have one for them. Anyway, that's what's going on and of course you can use nymphs, midges, or a single salmon egg. I've never been big on the power bait or the salmon eggs. You got to make sure you stay stealthy now. That clear water they can see, so keep your tippet light and use a slow approach. Now, for reference sake, a fish's vision V's out. Okay, and I forget the angle, but the fish's vision V's out like that. Say this is his head. He only sees at angles. So the deeper he is, the further out he can see. So you just got to keep those angles. If you're fishing 3 foot, if you're 6 feet away and you keep crouched or low, then you're in good shape. You're out of his direct line of sight. Now, if the water's only this deep, he's only going to see that angle, this angle right here. But if he's down, way down, 4 or 5 feet, he's going to have a wider field of view. So keep that kind of thing in mind when you're out there. And you got to be thinking deep. You got to be thinking deep. Those cold fish hug the bottom. So add weight and drift slow. Like I said, if you ain't hanging up every now and then, you ain't bumping the bottom, you ain't fishing deep enough. And the other thing that, those fingers get cold out there. So I've tried fishing with mitts. The best thing I've ever had, and I hadn't had a pair in a while, is the mittens. And then you take the mitten part off, and it's a glove with your fingers exposed. Now that's the best thing I've ever had. If they're wool, they're even better because wool will wick the moisture away, and it holds considerably more of the heat in from your hands. But the cold hands, watch your hands, keep them warm as you can, and that's it. But anyway, Tallulah River, Overflow Creek, the Burton tailwaters are holding rainbows. I've heard up to 16 inches. Don't overlook the smaller creeks like Wildcat and Moccasin Creek. They stay shaded and cold even through November. But anyway, if you're a trout fisherman, it's time to get out there and get after them. I know I'm looking forward to it when the crowds die back. I'm real excited about it. Anyway, that's my thoughts on it. Change the view up here, boys and girls. See how y'all like this view. That's the old grand boy up there. He's visiting his nana. I was up there visiting earlier, but I told him I had to, excuse me, break out. I had something to do. I wanted to be with y'all, and he's up there with his nana. She bought him that old coughing or sneezing or something. She bought him a bunch of that old Halloween candy, so he's up there taking advantage of that situation. His mama's going, now you don't need to be eating any more candy, and his nana's going, here, you can have some more. So I'm glad I'm not a part of that struggle. You get home tonight, won't be able to sleep all night long and get loaded up on that old sweet stuff. Listen to him bounce around up there, already bouncing around. And adjust the color on that thing. Y'all let me know how the color on this second camera is looking. I try to get it adjusted before I get on here and get to fooling around. How about that background music? How about that? I can play. Let me put my headphones back on and see how that old background music is sounding. Can y'all hear it? I hear it a little bit. How about some fiddle music? There we go. Y'all let me know how it sounds. Send me a message. All right. So that cold weather trout fishing, I love it. You know why? Because it's too uncomfortable for most people to be camping. Now, there's some tough guys out there who will camp out in this cooler fall weather, and but there ain't near as pressure on them rivers. Then you start getting the holdovers, them educated fish. Start catching them educated devils that, you know. See if I can get that second camera going. Yeah, I tried to get the second camera going so I could show y'all these darned old bugs. And there it goes. Look at that. Let's see if I can go into focus. I gotta keep my face covered up. There you go. Yeah, those are the ones I tied those. If y'all want to see me tie some up, I'll set the camera up. You just gotta let me know. I ain't, like I tell my wife, I ain't a mind reader. I'm good. I ain't that good. Anyway, there you go. Cold weather trout fishing, winter trout fishing, best kind of fishing in my opinion in the world. And I believe the Tallulah River is a year-round stream. So you'll find me up there from the North Carolina line all the way down to the entrance of the national forest there, fishing that river. So if you see an old boy, and you'll always know me because my pickup truck has a special tag on it. It's called the Tackle Box. TCKLBOX. I think some people confuse it and call it Tickle Box, but if I'm fishing, I'm tickled, so call it whatever you want. But my intent when I got that thing, 20 years ago or better, man, it's been that long. Me and the old Tackle Box, and that old tag's been on so many pickup trucks and cars and everything else, I tell you what. And it costs me a little extra every year, but I got it. And I want to talk about who I am. People say, where you fish, boy? They opened up a whole box of worms at that point. But anyway, that's the way she shakes up. Hey, while we're out there now, back to the deer hunting a little bit. Let's talk about some safety when we're out there deer hunting, because you never know who's in those woods. Unless you on private property, you got a lease or something. Even then, you're not really sure who in the world is out there fooling around. So, my suggestion is always be aware. Make sure if you're hunting with a bunch that you know exactly who you're hunting with, where their lanes are, where their firing lanes are. And y'all have predetermined setups, okay? That's always important. The kind of safety this is the kind of safety that starts before you pull the trigger. Let someone know where you're hunting and when you'll be back. Let your wife, your girlfriend, your mama, daddy, brother, sister, let somebody know, hey, Saturday morning, I'm going to go hunting over here at such place, and I expect to be out of the woods by noon, and I'll give you a call then. Second thing is, make sure you keep your cell phone or your radio charged up, because mountain rescues can take a while, especially when they're trying to hunt you down. And if you've got a fully charged cell phone, or a radio. Now with a cell phone, they can get you on no GPS and be to you pretty quick. Make sure your stand and your blind location. Make sure you mark them with GPS or flagging. That's an important thing. I've got U.S. Geological Survey maps hanging on the wall in here, and I don't have any pins in them, but if I were a hunter, and I used to hunt, but now I just like to talk about it, I would always mark on the USGS map, the old topographical map. I would mark where my hunting arena was, and if I had several, I would name them A, B, C, whatever, and always let the wife or girlfriend or somebody know where you're at, and tell them there's a map down there and you're going to be at A, B, or C, and they could pull that map down. But the best bet is to have a fully charged phone, and that way if you get in a bind, you can make that 911 call, and emergency services will be able to key in on you if your phone is up and going. When you're hunting with a buddy, always agree on a shooting lane. Make sure, we talked about this a minute ago, but make sure, hey, I'm shooting down this saddle here and toward the creek and that away. And he said, okay, well, I'm going to come to your point and I'm going to go this another 30 degrees or whatever. Put in landmarks. Y'all walk the land. You ought to know where your hunting lanes are and have that worked out before you get out there. And if you take a newcomer to your property, make sure you outline him where that stand's hunting lanes are. Have it identified either through landmarks or you can even put some ribbon up or some reflectors or something like that. Make sure you know where those hunting lanes are. And finally, everybody knows this. You got your required tech hunter safety class in the state of Georgia for you can get your hunting license now. Now, I'm old enough, I didn't have to do that, but I did it anyway. Treat every gun like it's loaded and keep that muzzle pointed in a safe direction. All right, hunter safety. Teach your kids too. Teach your kids about gun safety. More people get killed by a supposedly unloaded gun than by a non-loaded gun. You can't undo a mistake in the woods, but you can sure prevent them. Anyway, that's the first 25 or 26 minutes. We talked about hunting and fishing. Send me a comment. Let me know what your thoughts are and what your tactics are if you're going to do any trout fishing in this fall and winter. Let me know how you do it and what's a good way for you to do it. Also, if you're a deer hunter or a trapper, let us know how your harvest is going this year and what you're keying on and the size of your animal that you've harvested this year. We're all interested. I know I am. I need to get me a good swallow of that well water. Anywho, let's move along. It says that my stream is lagging a little bit. Well, you got to remember I'm on a satellite. I tried using some streaming services around here. Ain't none of them, no account. So here I am. I go for a walk probably once a week down there at the Tullittle Falls State Park. And I walk a portion of the old Tullittle Falls Railroad. There's an old bridge, what do you call the things that stick up? The abutments or the piers that stick up in the air that old railroad used to ride on. And I'll walk part of that path that thing used to ride on. And it's amazing. I think it was first chartered in 1854. Now, if some of you folks are with the Rabun County Historical Society and I'm misleading somebody or I'm speaking out of turn or I don't know what I'm talking about, but let me know. But before that darn thing came through, before the highways and the GPS, that Tullittle Falls Railroad was a real lifeline up through here. It was chartered in 1854 and it was finally completed in 1907. So it took about a mile a year to do because the line wound 58 miles from Cornelia up to Franklin, North Carolina, 58 miles. And it took them, took them 50 years, 53 years. That's about a mile a year. I imagine when you busting out this old rock by hand and dynamite without steam shovels and whatnot, that it did take about that long. But it was completed in 1907 through some of the roughest and prettiest country east of the Mississippi. It was called the Old TF by locals, short for tough line, because its narrow bridges and mountain grades tested every engineer who dared run it. That line carried lumber, mail, passengers, and tourists headed for Tallulah Gorge and Clayton. At its peak, 10 trains a day rolled through these hills. Kids would run down to wave at the engineers, and shopkeepers would set their watches by the whistle echoing through the valley. The last run came in 1961, but you can still walk the old rail beds. Some of it's up at the Nachuchi School there. At Kelly's Creek, you could see it where it runs along the old farmland up there. And then back down at Toulouse Falls State Park. So it's a wonderful history, but the last run came in 1961, and you can still find those old road beds and feel the ghost of those cast iron wheels in your chest. And I do, man. When I walk that road, there's a gulch down there at Toulouse Falls State Park. It is solid rock. And I imagine some parts of it rise 20 or 30 feet where them boys, and I guess ladies, but those men, those workers, cut through that stone, and you could tell that was dug. Boy, I don't see many drill holes in that up there, so that was a lot of daggum work. And I'm in 1854, was that old narrow gauge stuff they's putting in? I don't remember. Seems like I read somewhere that the Toulouse Falls Railroad was a narrow gauge. If you know anything about that, hit me up in the chat and let me know. I'd like to learn a lot more about it. Anyway, that's what I got on that. And every week I always try to say just a little something about the Foxfire Museum in Mountain City. The Foxfire Museum in Mountain City keeps the spirit of that era alive, not just through cabins and crafts, but through storytelling. Many of the old folks interviewed in the first Foxfire book remembered riding the T&F, delivering milk or timber, or courting along the line. It's a living history, and we ought to take pride in that, and it'd be nice if we could somehow put together a consortium of people and maybe put something together, make it a bike trail, or I'd like to see the old train run again. Wouldn't that be nice? But I don't think they'd want it. I think they're tearing up a bunch of it over there on 441 where they're widening the road between Mountain City and Dillard. That's a shame. Let's try and keep it alive in our minds and our hearts and talk about it as often as possible. Give it as long as life is possible, because it's a reminder that the way up the mountain is always paved by those who came before. All right. Anybody got anything? Give me a chat. Let me know what's happening. Send me something. Say hello. The local newspaper this week, me and Pluriforia read through that, and there's a couple exciting things coming up. This Saturday, November the 1st, downtown Clayton. Now, it's going to be cold, so make sure you got a coat. There's going to be 125 vendors from Georgia and neighboring state. This is going to be the biggest year yet. Handmade crafts, food, and mountain music. So if you're in the area, if you're a leaf peeper, swing by and give those vendors a once over. Maybe you'll find something that you can give away coming up in Christmas. Christmas is just around the corner. Here's something interesting. Did you know that Rabun County has produced a lot of pickleball pros? I didn't realize that. They've even built a pickleball complex at the Rabun Recreation Center. That's up there by the high school. Man, is that background too loud for y'all? Is it comfortable? Somebody send me something, let me know. I like listening to a little background when I talk. Anywho, Rabun Pickleball Complex dedication is going to be held on November the 11th from 1 to 2 p.m. at the Rabun Recreation Center. Come celebrate the new 10-court outdoor facility. Boy, that old pickleball has taken off, ain't it now? I've never played the pickleball, but I have played tennis. When I was a younger man, played a lot of tennis, played a lot of racquetball, played a little bit of badminton, and occasionally I would play squash. Boy, you ain't been whipped till you got swatted on the hind end or the backside by a dadgum squash racket. A squash racket is a beefed up badminton racket. I'm talking about they're stout, and you're in a room and I played handball. You're in a handball court or a racquetball court, and you've got them beefed up badminton rackets, and you can hear them things wishing around in the room. Boy, I tell you what, you get licked by one of those things, that's something to be remembered. Anyway, I think I would enjoy that pickleball. I don't know how much it's. How old am I? About 63. Yeah, I'm 63. I'm fixing to be 64. But they say that pickleball's for us older folks, and then the young folks come in there and take it over. Ain't that a dang shame? Old folks come up with something they could play, and young folks come in there and beat us off of it. I wonder if that's how baseball started. Old men in a sandlot beating a ball around with a stick, and young guys came by and run us off. Anyway, hey, listen. Also, if you're looking for something special to do to satisfy your Christian morality and your Christian background, and you have a deep appreciation for the United States Marine Corps, Toys for Tots, Raven County Drive, applications and drop-off locations open through the holidays. The Clayton Tribune office is an official drop-off spot, and it is a 501(c) organization, so it's tax deductible. You know, I've got to make some contributions this year. I might do that. Sounds like a good day. Hey, listen, folks. This is important. You need to get out there and vote. If you hadn't done early voting, November 4th is election day. Local races and statewide referendums. Get out there. Hey, listen, these small votes, these referendums, and these local elections, they make a world of difference. Those are the ones who get people thinking about the way that the big elections need to go. You need to be out there and you need to vote. And as some of my liberal friends might say, vote and vote often. Vote early and vote often. But I suggest you just vote one time. Yeah, that's what let's keep this election system legal. Let's keep it up and up. And if you see somebody doing some foolishness, there's supposed to be poll workers at every poll. If you see some kind of foolishness, by all means, turn them in. Stop this stuff, boy. One man, one vote. That's the way it needs to be. We need to get this political system that we've let get away from us over the years, need to get it back into the order where the people have the voice. All right. We got 6:38. That means 22 more minutes of this pleasurable interaction together. I'd love to see somebody come in here and say something. Whether they do or don't, I'm developing my skill set. And one of these days, somebody's going to stop by and say hello. And I'm excited for that day to happen. Also coming up next week is Veterans Day dinner. And that's at the Dillard House. So if you're a veteran or you know a veteran, make sure that you're there at the Dillard House on November 6th. You know, we're running out of those World War II vets, man. They're disappearing. They're falling away from us. That's the greatest generation of this country. So if you know one, a grandfather, if they're in a nursing home, go get them, fetch them, and take them. Korean War veterans, Vietnam veterans, Desert Storm veterans, Iraqi war veterans, anybody who's sacrificed for our country. Let's make sure they get to the Dillard House and have some dinner. Now, it's free for the vets, and $10 for spouses and $25 for guests. So, if you can't make it, send a check to pay for one of them spouses to go. Send somebody. When is that? On November the 6th. I think I'm going to be out of town. That's a shame. That's a shame. I got a little nephew. He's, how old is Jamie? I think he's 33, 34. He's getting married next weekend, and my father is coming up from St. Simon's, and he's going to bivouac here at the house for a day or two, and then I think on Thursday. Oh, there's one of them. Let's see what we got. Hello? 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 Hello?
Hello, this is Michael with Medical Benefits. How are you today?
Michael with Medical Benefits. How are you today?
I'm
Hello.
doing very well. Thanks for asking, sir. I'm
good.
just giving you a quick call, please.
Okay.
Because Medicare has some new updates that give you extra benefits and savings this year until 2026. For confirmation, you have Medicare Part A and B, right?
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh. I do.
That's great. That means you may qualify for extra benefits without additional cost to you. Just to confirm, how old are you, sir?
I do. How old you got to be to qualify? You asked me if I had them already. I said yes.
64 to 85 years old.
Yeah, you asked me a minute ago if I qualified, if I had it, and I said yes.
How old are you, sir?
I'm 64.
How old are you, sir?
I'm
Are you
64.
64? Okay.
How old are
Thank
you,
Please just stay
Benjamin?
on the line while I
Hello?
connect your call to our licensed agent, sir.
Who?
Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
Listen to me, sir.
Hello?
And yes, sir.
Okay.
Please just stay on the line while I connect your call to our licensed agent who can explain everything about Medicare benefits you may qualify for.
Okay.
That's
I
right?
can. Okay.
It's okay, sir?
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Hi, and thank you so much for taking my call. My name is Chris, and how are you?
Chris, how are you? Thanks for calling the FBI Fraud Hotline Prevention. You're on a recorded line. Please stand by while I connect you to the next available agent. There we go. Sorry about that. Boy, I had a dead spot there. All of a sudden, things went crazy. I don't know exactly what happened. Took that those spam call, and it looks like it short circuited something in the old. Unless you reckon that old boy fed me a virus? you know, I think everything's closed out now. Sorry about that. That'll teach me, won't it? Right in the middle of a live stream, try to prank a prank call. Sorry, everybody. Where were we? Oh, since that was some funny, how about some humor? They say old mountain folks don't need no treadmills. They just walk to the mailbox and back. Brother, that's the truth. I try to get my exercise in around here, and there's very few flat spots around here. Whoo! Anyway, get the old blood flowing. I intend to do that in the morning. We've got 13 minutes. I asked old Uncle Ned how deer season was going. He said, great. Haven't seen a deer all week. They're finally learning how to hide. Where's my wah? I got one of them somewhere. Y'all hold on. Is that it? Nope. Nope. Aunt Maybelle said her husband's idea of camouflage is sitting still long enough for the moss to grow on him. All right. That's all the jokes I got. If y'all got a joke, y'all send me something in the chats. I'd like to hear something funnier than what me and old Player for you could come up with. Uh, you know, I don't know that I saw that ride the old TF line by the Foxfire Boys. Let me see if I can find that. Foxfire Boys ride the old TF line. Fox. Oh, that's one word. Fire Boys. Uh-oh. I'm trying to find it. Y'all hold on a minute, doggone it. Foxfire Boys. Let's see. Ride the old TF line. Let's see if that comes up. Put that in quotes. If it comes up, I'll play y'all a piece of that. I don't see it. Well, heck. I need to, man, we did play some Foxfire Boys last week. If y'all know anything about them old Foxfire Boys, y'all let me know. Maybe I forgot to put the S in there. Let's see what we come up with now. Nope. I don't know. Maybe Player for you got her wires crossed. I count on her sometimes. I ought not to. I still gonna count on her because she sure helps me out. Here we go. Foxfire Boys at Persimmon Church. I wonder if I can do a screen share. Screen share. Oh, let's see. Window came. There we go.
Shine upon us until the glory dawn. Light the way unto the land of perfect day. Beautiful star of Bethlehem, shine.
That's the wonder. That's the wonderful Foxfire Boys. That looks like that was up there at the music store. I believe it is. All right. Here's another one called Uncle's Band. Yep, this here's the Foxfire Boys. Let's see if I can get myself in here. Y'all don't mind if I I put myself in there, do you? There we go. Hey, y'all. The Foxfire Boys. This is performed at Persimmon Church up there in Persimmon, Georgia. And the beautiful Star of Bethlehem. This is quite an old video. All right, I think we've seen enough of Foxfire Boys. Let me kill that. I think we're done with it. All right, well, there you go, the Foxfire Boys. I didn't see it ride the old TF line, but here's some shout outs. Rabun County Welcome Center dedication honoring Jim Blackley, our long-serving county administrator, 24 years of service, the longest in Georgia history. The Stokoa Creek Volunteers for another weekend of river cleanup. And every parent and volunteer making Halloween safe and fun for the kids this week. That's right. If you got them kids, make sure you're watching them closely and being with them. That's the most important thing about Halloween. Being with them kids and watching them get that belly load of candy and having a heck of time. Any of y'all, I know, 1960s. Anybody out there still remember the Tallulah Falls Railroad before we close this thing out? Or maybe your parents or grandparents talking about it. Or maybe if you're old enough, you rode it as a kid before the last whistle blew in 61. Share your stories. Yeah, share your stories. And you got any old photos? Excuse me. I'm sure the Rabun County Historical Center does. But if you catch this on the replay, just go ahead and send me some stories and pictures of it, and we'll feature them next week on the rag. Anyway, looks like the old clock is ticking down on us. I've tried to fill the hour with pleasing demure, entertaining, a little bit of information. If you run across this thing sometime during the week and watch it, make sure that you put it in your calendar to tune in next Thursday night at 6 o'clock. Every Thursday from 6 to 7. Now, next week, I'll be up in Tennessee, so I'm not sure that I'll get it out. We'll have to wait and see. I wonder if I could do it from the mobile. I don't know. I'll be with my father. I probably won't want to be doing any of this I'd rather spend what precious time we have together. Uh, break bread with him and catch up with him. And anyway, that looks like that's going to wrap it up for us. We're a community of like-minded people with common interest in hunting, fishing, protecting our community, culture, families, and environment. We come here on a weekly basis where we can exchange ideas, resources, and information. And that reminds me, this is also a place, if you got a piece of old farm equipment laying around, let us know. Somebody might need that piece of old farm equipment. You got some old saddlery laying around, somebody might be interested in that. You got some produce for sale. I know I got some collard greens. Boy, them going to be good because I'm waiting on that. Frost we're supposed to have tomorrow night, Saturday. I believe I'm going to be out there picking some collard greens. It looks like my thing just went blank. Might have been me fooling around with it. But anyway, I am looking forward to that. Get them collard greens after that first frost and throw them in a pot with a couple of them old ham hocks and go to chowing down on them. I tell you what, I am excited about that occasion. Anyway, but if you've got something for sale, this is the place to sell it. If you got something you want to buy, post it on here. Let us know. Put it in the comments, and we'll see about anybody needs that, what you got. Anyway, here we go as we close out another October here in the heart of the mountains. The color fades, but the roots remain. Whether we're swapping stories, helping neighbors, or teaching the next generation to hunt, fish, and live right, we're all part of the same mountain family. So make sure you keep your lines tight, your rifles clean, and your hearts grateful. And until next Thursday, this is Bubba signing off from the Raven County Rag, where the mountains still speak if you take the time to listen. And as always, have a grateful day, and we will see you next time.